Hey, good afternoon to you. This is lesson number 2 for beginners. I don't normally kneel here on the floor at the table, but I wanted to talk to you just a little bit before we started. Then I want you to be able to see the neck of the guitar rather than to see me. You don't need to see me, you need to hear me, and you need to see the guitar and hear the guitar. So we'll go from there. Last week, lesson 1, how to evaluate guitars, how to select a guitar if you don't already have one, how to tune a guitar up on the 5th fret by having 2 strings sound the same. And finally, we talked a little bit about learning chords. I think it's very important to learn chords before you learn anything else on the guitar. If you learn chords, the other things will come in time. And if you know chords and somebody says, hey, play me a song, you'll be able to do it. Maybe you'll sing it, maybe you'll just learn to play a tune itself. But if you know chords, if somebody wants a song, you can give them a song. But here we go. Get your guitar if you don't already have it. Let's get started. Here's my guitar. I'm going to use the Washburn. And I'll give you my E. If you want to tune to this E, your guitar, that may not be what they call standard pitch. That may not work for playing along with a record or for playing something on YouTube or from a tape or whatever. But this guitar's E. And there's an E at the top, there's an E at the bottom, there's a B, there's a G, there's a D, there's an A. You can think of a string of words to remember these strings. I always said every bad girl does. Now, E and A, you're going to have to decide yourself what every bad girl does. But that's what the strings are called. But today I'm going to show you for the key of A, I'm going to show you 3 chords, starting with the A, and 3 chords in the key of A, 3 chords in most any key will play a song. Many songs, especially in the older rock and roll and the country music, are 3-chord songs. And 3 strings or 3 notes make a chord. You don't always cover all 6 strings. In fact, you very rarely do. Let's start off. On the 2nd fret, your fingers are 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm not going to say 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. We're just going to say 1, 2, 3, or 4. Okay? That's probably easiest. And we're going to be on the 2nd fret, and we're going to cover the 2nd string, the 3rd string, and the 4th string. We're not going to cover the 1st string. We're not going to cover the 5th or the 6th string. And we're going to do it by putting the 2nd finger on, we're going top down. So we're going to put the 2nd finger on the D string on the 2nd fret. That's the 4th string. And then we're going to follow that with the 3rd finger and the 4th finger, all on that 2nd fret. And if you play those 3 notes together, that is an A. But we'll play 5 notes. We'll start with the 5th string open, and we're going to also hit the 6th string open. That would be an A. Now you can also hit the 6th string, and it will not be a discord. But generally you're just going to hit the 5th through the 6th string for this A chord. Your first finger's free. You can use it to wave at friends in the audience or whatever. Okay? Now you can also get that A with what's called a bar, B-A-R-R-E, a bar chord. It's really a modified bar, it's just half of a bar, by putting 1 finger across those 3 strings. But you got to be sure that you get some bend in your finger or it's going to touch this 1st string. And you're going to get a muffled sound like this. Your 1st string's not going to ring out because this finger's laying on it. You got to get it up. You see how I have that finger raised up? And if you want, you can take your 2nd finger and put on top of that and press down, because it's kind of hard to hold down those 3 strings, especially raising up. But I'd recommend you play it with the 3 fingers. It gives you more capability of doing other things also than if you have got this bar going. But sometimes I use that bar. All guitar players will use that. Different reasons, and we'll see later on why. Okay, A with 3 fingers, and then the D, 3 notes, the first 3 strings. This time we're covering on the 2nd fret the 1st string and the 3rd string on the 2nd fret, and we're covering the 3rd fret on the 2nd string. So we've got a little pyramid going there. That's a D chord, those 3 notes. Now let's add the 4th string, which is open, and the 5th string, which is open. We don't want to add the 6th string because we're going to get that sound that's not good called discord. It just doesn't fit. It doesn't go. So when we're playing D, let's skip that 6th string. Let's don't hit it because we'll make a bad sound. Okay, that's a D. All the strings. This is an A. All the strings. Okay. Now the 3rd chord in this series is an E chord, and there are more E chords than there are drops of water in the ocean. Just about every rock and roll song I've ever played, every country song, somewhere there's an E in it, or it may be in the key of E, which we'll get later on. This is an E, and let's go from the top down. We'll start with your 2nd finger. It's on the 2nd fret, and then your 3rd finger is on the 2nd fret, and your 1st finger's on the 1st fret. But we're on strings 3, 4, and 5. This would be the G, D, and A strings, 3, 4, and 5. That's a good old E chord. And buddy, you just can't get enough E chords in guitar playing. Okay, so the three chords making up the key of A, the basic key of A would be the A, the D, and the E. And strumming them, you can alternate between the 2 top strings on each chord, and in the case of A, it's going to be the open A and the open E, the 5th and the 6th. So you hit the 5th strum, 6th strum, 5th strum, 6th strum. Back and forth, okay? And on the D, the same thing, only this time the open strings are the 4th string, the D, and the 5th string, the A. And then when we go to A, we're going to reverse what we're doing on the bottom strings. On the E, the open string, we're going to hit it first, and then we're going to hit the A string, which is up on the 2nd fret here with the 2nd finger. Okay, so we can go. Country thing going there. Now, the next thing to mention to you is where to hit the strings up here on the head of your guitar. And if you're over the hole, the sound hole, you're going to have the most volume. The tone's going to be pretty much the same, but you're going to have the most volume if you hit it here. So, what am I doing there? Well, instead of just going up and down, I'm going back and forth with the pick. I'm going both directions. Okay? Now, if you come back here and put your hand, the palm of your hand, and this is something you need to learn how to do, put the palm of your hand just barely touching the strings, you can get what I'd call the Johnny Cash effect. Open, muffled. Okay, sounds like Johnny Cash, right? Okay. Finally, if you hit up by the bridge, you get a sharper, more sparkly kind of a sound. Electric guitar, these 3 things that I just told you aren't necessarily going to apply. Your tone is going to depend on where you set the switch. You're going to have a switch that'll probably give you a bridge pickup, a middle pickup, and a neck pickup. And you'll be able to play those separately or all together, and you'll get different tones. I can tell you that from my Fender guitar. I'm not familiar with other guitars as much as I am with Fender. because that's what I've always played. Okay, now one more thing I want to show you. You don't have to sit on these chords without moving your other fingers. Starting with the A, if you can get this A down really good, you can take this third finger and you can raise it up and down when you're playing. You can get the Ray Charles effect. If you want to do that in D, you got to make another change. Remember, your D is the pyramid and it's facing that direction. Turn it around and face it that direction. Same 3 strings, only we're coming off this 3rd fret and going back to the 1st fret with the 1st finger, and the 2nd finger's up here on the 3rd, and the 3rd finger's down here on the 1st. So it's the same 3 notes, but we've reversed it. We've turned it around. Now it's facing that way. And to do the Ray Charles thing I just showed you, we'll use the 4th finger up here that we started with. Okay? And we're going to rock it back and forth. So we got... When you go down to E, it's going to be the 3rd finger. It's going to come up and down, okay? Now you also got to pick it that way. You got to do joom chicka doomka chicka 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 doom. So you play a little Ray Charles. You can play Peggy Sue. Little Peggy Sue. Singer. Well, I love you, and I love you, Peggy. Okay, so that's what you can do with 3 chords. Oh, you can do tens of thousands of songs with 3 chords in the key of A. You can do tens of thousands of songs in all keys, but the key of A is very, very versatile, and it's very important for you to learn these 3 chords so you can do them in your sleep, do them behind your head, do them anywhere. Without even thinking about it, without looking. It's important you learn to play without looking at the neck, because you're going to have an audience sometime and you're going to be looking at them. Okay? So good luck. Keep picking, keep practicing. It's all about practice. It's about getting these fingers calloused on the end so it doesn't hurt quite so bad when you push down. Learning how to use your pick, learning how to play these different rhythms with your pick. So you're on your way. You know chords now. You've started. You got 3 chords. And with that, you can play a lot of guitar. So thank you. Have a good day.